Welcome to Spotlight on St. John's. I'm your host, Brian Brown. St. John's University is a unique Catholic and Vincentian institution of higher education, and St. John's is on a mission to ensure student success. Today I had the chance to sit down with Dr. Katia Passerini, Dean of the College of Professional Studies at St. John's University. The College of Professional Studies is at the forefront of transforming students into well-rounded professionals. Let's watch. Dean Passerini, welcome to Spotlight on St. John's.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So you're the Dean of the College of Professional Studies, and that is the college here at St. John's with the largest student enrollment. Tell our viewers, what is the College of Professional Studies all about?
Yes, we are the college with the largest undergraduate student enrollment. We're working on our graduate enrollment, but undergraduate, we're certainly the largest college. If I had to describe the College of Professional Studies, or CPS, we call ourselves CPS, I think we are kind of an engine of innovation. We're always thinking and bringing to market and to the students new majors. So if you look at how the college is organized, it's a number of different majors which have one common characteristic, which is we're focused on professional skills. So our students finish their degree and they are ready to their next challenge. They can stay and continue in graduate programs within the university or also within CPS, but generally they are ready to join the workforce and drive change. So
you're preparing students for professional careers?
Professional careers, absolutely.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Now you mentioned innovation. We have some very cutting-edge, innovative space in the last year or two, and even this semester, that has been added to the portfolio of the College of Professional Studies and some other colleges here within the university. Can you speak to, in particular, the Media, Arts, and Design Lab, which has just come on board this semester?
Yes, so we've been building a number of spaces, because when I mentioned we are focused on students becoming professionals and the professions, we have to think about the professions of today, but also the ones of tomorrow. Right. So the idea of these labs, and more labs have been coming to fruition in the last year, and the last one is the Media, Arts and Design, is a way for the students to learn the theory, but also spend a lot of time practicing and building those skills that make them, again, ready to jump on the next project that an organization might be working on. So the Media, Arts and Design Lab is our most recent addition, and the idea is it's born out of a collaboration of two colleges which are strong in television, film and TV, animation, digital media and design from the College of Professional Studies, and graphic arts and design in the St. John's College of Liberal Arts and Science. And we have created a space where students can work together and be creative, build things next to the lab, to the MAD lab, we call it Media, Arts and Design. The MAD lab, we have 3D printers, e-sport, computer software, some spaces where the students can really be creative, think about visual effects, animation, they work on their capstone projects. So they use hands-on tablets to do drawing by hand metaphorically, because it's still a computer that they're using, but also to use the latest and greatest software to produce visual animation. So it's really a creative space for them to be themselves, and then they display what they create outside of the lab itself. Wonderful. Because you can see screens and TVs, and so every passerby can see what the students are working on.
Now, do you find that the students, do they come in with some sort of skill set and they hit the ground running, or is there a bit of a learning curve when it comes to the new technology? Because students learn very differently today than they did, in the past.
So the students keep us real. They're coming more and more with better skills. Right. So what we need to continuously do, and that's why it's so important to continuously to build labs and upgrade the technology that we have, is that we need to move them to the next level. And the students might be very skilled on how to do something, but then they also need to take a step back and understand what are the basics of good photography, good digital photography. How do you develop film? How do you build a scene in a movie or in an animation that actually meets the industry standards? So they're very tech savvy, that's why we have the technology there, and we're helping them now to bring those skills and put them in context which is relevant to the professional world.
Now, the College of Professional Studies offers a robust array of programs and degrees. How does that differentiate from other even colleges within the university and other peer institutions?
I think the number of degrees is varied, and the fact that we are co-located in one single college, in fact it's a single floor, the same space, and instead of departments we have division, enables us to really bring together different disciplines. So I think we have two elements of uniqueness. One is that we really collaborate well across different disciplines, and so we can use, for example, a computer science class in a communication arts program, because there are some skills that are really, really useful to the students to put together. So that's an easy collaboration. The other strength, which is I think a characteristic of Catholic and Vincentian education, like our university, is really this ability to embed liberal arts and science within the context of the professions. Right. So that's unique from other schools here in the area, because we're very serious on the students learning the breadth of what they need to learn in liberal arts. Right. But we also put liberal arts in context, so that when they study ethics, is ethics in sports, it's ethics in business, communications, right. It's ethics in business. Right. So they're able to also do a deep dive in their own discipline, but without sacrificing breadth.
Terrific. Now there's a number of dual programs, and students can avail themselves of majors and minors and that sort of thing. Do you find students take advantage of this variety of academic programs?
Absolutely, more and more. And we have an incredible number of students, for example, in our business minor. And we are developing new minors continuously, because we always found that sometimes you might find a profession which is at the edges of two disciplines. So you might be a communication arts major, but you might need a business minor, or a computer science major, still you might need a business minor, or an entrepreneurship minor, or a legal studies minor, right. If you're in criminal justice, but you might be dealing with the laws, the legal system. So it's very important, and the students, there is a very large number of students that takes advantage of these opportunities, and we encourage them to do so. I think the students today have a unique ability to understand the new pathways, right. And so what we really need to do is give them the opportunity to explore and build a curriculum which is rigorous but also flexible for them to make those choices. And that's why you will see a lot of combinations, or also accelerated path towards a graduate degree that we're trying to build.
Excellent. Now some of the courses that are being offered weren't even thought of 10, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. How does that fit into the college overall in terms of creating a program, creating a curriculum, getting it approved? Like, I guess from start to finish, how much lead time do you need to get something new out there?
This is an interesting question, because for reasons that are obviously very important, which is guaranteeing a rigorous process before you bring a new program to market. Bringing a new program to market might take a couple of years, yes. From when you start to when you obtain the seal of approval, right. From
state ed has to get involved,
the state ed, and etc. And the time that the program is approved might not be the time where you're recruiting students, so you might lose another year just because the time to market is not there. Right. So how do you keep updated in this case, especially in certain disciplines that are continuously evolving? So one thing that I think we have been doing successfully over the years is we always start with a few courses that turn into a minor. That's why you see so many minors in the college. And when we see that there is enough demand and interest on a specific minor, then we start thinking about building the bachelor program, or building a master program. So while the students are waiting for something to happen, they're able to experience the field by taking courses that we are creating. And in fact, it will be difficult for us to bring something to the market without having tested it before. So we have courses that are special purpose courses, seminars type of courses, where we try to understand, do the students need this?
And how they're reacting.
So while we're doing this, and we're waiting for the bigger program to be approved, we can give them an opportunity to at least start with the discipline.
Excellent. So Kayla, could you describe what the new Media Arts and Design Lab means to you and your studies here at St. John's?
So as an illustration major who's kind of grown with the program and seen it go through many different iterations of technology and advancement, this is by far one of the most innovative, for lack of a better word, changes I've seen this program go through, and I think that it'll be a great thing for students to have, a great resource for illustration majors to use. Having the graphics tablets that you can actually access in class is major, because in the past we haven't been able to have them in a classroom setting, but now that we have them, I think that it will be great, and students can really do all the hands-on learning that they'll need to do right here in the classrooms, as well as having access to them outside of their classes will be very useful. So I'm actually planning to continue on to become an arts educator, but my training here at St. John's has given me tools to do freelance work and design work, and I'm currently interning as a marketing and design media intern for a nonprofit organization.
And could you describe that internship experience a little bit more?
So what I'm doing there is creating graphics and media for their website, logo design, as well as sending out invitations, flyers. So basically all of the graphic imagery that they're using is handled by me and created by me, and they post it on their social media, in their email newsletters and things like that. But I design cute little illustrations and patterns that go on them. It's really a versatile experience.
Kayla, anything else about your St. John's experience, your experience as an illustration major that you'd like to share with us?
I just think that I found a really great home here at St. John's, and they've given me a lot of tools to help me grow in wonderfully positive directions with my art, and given me the confidence and the tools that I need to make a good career out of art.
And you're graduating early, so you're going to come back and continue to use these labs as an alum?
As long as we have alumni access, I'll be here.
Terrific. Now we know St. John's has a very big alumni network. Mm-hmm. How do you incorporate, because especially with the College of Professional Studies, how do you incorporate those alumni into the curriculum, into networking opportunities, into exposing students to careers that others that have gone before them have had?
So this is an incredible strength of St. John's. We mentioned before what's unique about your program. I think in addition to the two things that we mentioned, the alumni network is phenomenal. It's 190,000 strong, but they're not just alumni. They are connected with us. Many of them are from New York City, and they're still in New York City or all over the US and the world. But those who are close, and also those far, they can teach online. They're connected because they help us in our programming, because they're most likely successful alumni who are now adjuncts, and they come back to the classroom, and what they like to do is give back to the students. They feel that they have been able to grow so much at St. John's that they really want to come back to the classroom to teach what they learned.
And I think that's a unique characteristic of CPS, is that you have real-life practitioners coming back and giving their experience in the classroom.
Yeah, we are not constrained. We have different types of accreditations in different programs. One is ABA for the legal studies programs. We're now pursuing COSMA accreditation for sport management, ABIT for computer science, but all the type of accreditation programs that we work with enable this opportunity to bring clinical faculty or practitioners. So it's actually strength of the program to do that. So we're able to really create programs that are strong in theory, but also in practice through this network of alumni that we bring back.
Terrific. What do you hear most when you speak to CPS alumni? What are they telling you?
That they loved CPS,
right.
And even the current students.
They're probably jealous of some of the new facilities,
yes,
right?
they are jealous of the new facilities. They weren't here those many years ago,
right.
but they understand that's the evolution. But what they tell us that they like to hire our own students though, and they come back because they like to meet them and hire them, not only because they are professionally ready, but also because their work ethic is incredible. Sure. And I've experienced this firsthand when I go to the classroom and do class observation. The attentiveness and the participation of the students, it's really unparalleled. It's a unique St. John's spirit and characteristics. Students are investing all of their resources and time, and they want to do this well, and they carry this and this value and this work ethic to the job market. That's why I think we're so successful in career placement as well.
And that's important because students and parents and everybody's very outcome driven, and they're looking for their students to, get that career when they complete their degree, and you're doing a good job at that.
Absolutely, and it's the faculty, the college, but I have to give kudos also to career services. It's incredibly organized, embedded in the college. Correct. Every college has career advisors from the central career services that resides with us. So the students really get advised in their own discipline. And the network is phenomenal. The students are well prepared, and that gives us a 94% placement rate, correct. Which is very, very good.
I want to talk about your role as a dean, because a dean today, it's a multifaceted, you wear many different hats, whether it comes to recruiting students, working on retention and persistence efforts, interacting with faculty. How do you approach this, all these multifaceted, daily challenges that you have to deal with? It's a busy day. You come and your schedule is not your schedule anymore, right. But it's a list of meetings that you find in your schedule. You have to be able to have a great team, and I am very fortunate here with a team where sometimes I don't even need to describe what I need. They're really on task, they're really dedicated. Many of them also in our team are alums themselves, so they came back again because they wanted to be in this environment. So I think the challenges are many. The life of a dean, you have requests from the administration, external, internal, the faculty, and etc. But as long as everyone knows how they can contribute to the whole, my life is easy because of the people I work with. Right.
Yes.
Pat, what was that like? I mean, you're an immigrant, you're working in a global city on a beautifully diverse campus. How did that all play out for you in your own career trajectory?
I think serendipitously, I never really planned to be an immigrant. I planned to come to the U.S. for studying abroad. I was.
Now you studied political science originally?
I studied originally political science. Okay. Yes.
And then what happened?
And then, life happened. We had a political science was organized in a very interesting model that we have also in our major. So your first 2 years it's political science, and then you need to specialize in industrial relations, international relations, or government politics. I took the industrial relation track. I like to understand trade unions and relationship between industry, government, and etc. And there was a lot of economics there. And for the first time, I realized that I really liked economics, and learning about not only supply and demand, but also the entire economy and how changes in monetary policy might affect what happens in a country in a region of the world, and everything is connected. Now, economic conditions are always fixed, which is not life, but they're incredibly interesting because they really map people behavior, assuming that people act rationally. And everything that I've studied ever since has been focused on understanding economic behavior. So from political science, I decided I was going to continue in economics and then business, and then you can't do business without technology. So while I didn't plan it, I kind of followed what I like to focus on. Yeah.
Now, you were a Fulbright scholar.
Yes.
And you came and studied here in the United States.
I came and studied in the United States, and I seriously thought I will go back, and I did go back. Actually, as a Fulbright scholar, you have to go back to your own country for a couple of years and serve there. But I didn't plan to be an immigrant. But then coming to the United States, I was in Washington, D.C. and then New York. You understand that the world is here, and so Rome all of a sudden became too small, and I thought that I could make change and affect change here, and I decided to stay.
And how did the path lead towards higher education and administration?
Yeah, so what I decided to do was after I finished my master program, my MBA, I had an opportunity to apply for a doctoral program, and I did so, and I realized that I also, as a part of being a doctoral student, you start teaching, and I loved teaching, and I said that is what I'm going to do. So I left back, I went back to Europe to work in industry for a few years, and then I came back and full-time teaching and research, and I've loved it ever since.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, you describe yourself as a lifelong learner. What early influences or who in your life kind of exposed you to that love of learning that you've maintained?
I think there are a couple of things. One is my parents, and probably
our first teachers.
Our first teachers, and probably one of the reasons why I also ended up in higher education, because they're both teachers, then they became principals, then superintendents, and
so it's in your DNA.
It was in my DNA, but I was trying to escape it because you never want to do what your parents do, right? So I really, and I loved business, and I loved working in business, but I think that passion was there hidden, because all I can remember growing up is them preparing for their next, becoming a principal. You had to do a national competition, superintendent, the same thing. So I've always seen them studying, learning, and my father especially is a passionate reader, and I also think the other reason is not just seeing people around me, but also I think I have something like an attention deficit disorder, and in a good way, in the sense that I really can't focus for too long on the same topic. And if you look at my career, I did that. So once I learned something about a subject, I want to learn enough to be able to talk about that subject, but then I want to move to the next subject.
And always learning,
always learning.
Right.
Yes,
that's terrific.
Yes.
That's terrific. Now, here in the United States, higher education is there's many challenges and opportunities. What worries you the most about the current state of American higher education? There's been a lot of conversation about the return on investment, the affordability. Is it worth it? What worries you most about higher education right now?
Well, I think a couple of things. One is this notion of return on investment. It's very important, and clearly also as a parent, I want to know that what I'm investing on clearly will have long-term impact to my own children. But there is a way of saying, right? If you think that education is expensive, try ignorance, right? So this notion of return on investments sometimes is falsified, because what else is there? Right. If you are not investing in your education, how would you achieve the society that you want people to live in, which is a society which is self-empowered and informed, and people can make decisions only when you have provided them with the resources to be educated. So my fear is if we look only at our ROI, we're missing the bigger picture that education is a public good, and that comes also from being raised in a country where the right to study is in the Constitution, and so I've always seen education as a public good, and therefore the state or the country, the government has the duty to provide free education to its citizens. Wow. So that discussion on our ROI, while important, I also think misses this bigger picture that we are a better society when we are all educated and informed. What scares me, though, is the changes that are happening, and this is maybe connected also to investments, but it's also connected to the fact that technology is driving the way we do things in a different way that we used to do. And so what we have to teach today cannot be taught in the same way that we learned it.
Right. Automation is changing everything, and jobs, are going to look much differently.
Absolutely,
in a few years
and the type of skills that the students have to
Right.
have are very different than the type of skills that we were learning 20 years ago.
Right.
So in this context, I don't know if we're ready or prepared to do that leapfrog jump that are usually typical of very dynamic business institutions, less typical of higher ed institutions,
Right.
just because they're born of a tradition of a slower pace. So what scares me is that we're unable to see that transition, and we're not yet prepared to embrace it fully.
Okay.
I'll give you one example, online learning, and no matter what one can think about learning online, and 20 years ago I was studying how people learn and do you learn better or not, and I've stopped asking that question, how do you learn better? Today is what is the best way for me to have that person focus their attention on the content that they need at the moment that they need it.
Right.
And the answer is sometimes online learning is better than a 5 hours New York City traffic to get to a place.
Sure.
And the social experience is very important, but can be one part of the equation. The rest can be all mediated communication.
Okay.
And you have to just teach students how do you take advantage of that segment in every moment that you have the opportunity. I have to drive several hours, I use audiobooks, and I'm continuously listening. Do I remember them the same as listening to you in class? No, but I have an exposure to it, and then I can reinforce learning. I think we're still structured with a very inflexible structure that doesn't take advantage and makes all these different learning opportunities. So that scares me. That's not St. John's, that's every university.
So that's a challenge and an opportunity.
It's a challenge, it's an opportunity.
Right.
But it's an opportunity if we take it faster than all the for-profits that promise the land, and then unfortunately they don't realize it. If as a non-profit higher ed institutions which have a very solid foundation, we are able to understand that trend and embrace it, I think we will do a service to our students in terms of learning in the same way that they will have to perform in their positions tomorrow.